Welcome back to the Reconnection Podcast. In our last episode, Dr. Michael Barta introduced the concept of intimacy disorder, the inability to feel safe, being fully seen, known, and accepted in connection. Today, we're taking the next step. How does intimacy disorder actually form? Dr. Barta, you say this doesn't begin with behavior, it begins much earlier. So, where does it start?
Well, intimacy disorder starts in the environments we grew up in, right? Specifically, whether those core needs we talked about last time were met, right? For connection, we needed to have, the stability, the attunement, and the validation met consistently enough for the nervous system to feel safe.
So, connection isn't something we just naturally know how to do.
No, like I said last time, we're wired for it, but we have to learn it. The brain and autonomic nervous system learn connection through repeated experiences with caregivers. Okay. And for that learning to happen, those three essential needs must be met. So our stability had to be consistent and predictable. Our attunement, we had to be emotionally seen and responded to accurately. And for the validation, we had to have our internal experience acknowledged and accepted. And when these needs are met, the nervous system learns it's safe to be me and it's safe to be me with others.
Well, let's start with stability. What happens when stability isn't there?
When we lack stability early on, our nervous system becomes uncertain. If caregivers are unpredictable, emotionally, physically, or relationally, our nervous system is automatically going to start to scan for danger. And instead of relaxing into connection, it's going to say, I don't know what's coming next. So I better stay alert and I can't rely on others. This creates a baseline of anxiety. And when stability is missing, connection doesn't feel safe. It feels risky.
Level stability. What about attunement?
Well, attunement is when someone actually reads and responds to your emotional state, right? It's not perfection. It's just being seen. And when attunement is missing, then the child's going to experience being misunderstood, being ignored, and being responded to in ways that don't match what they're feeling. And the nervous system begins to adapt. So it starts saying to itself, my feelings don't make sense to others. I'm too much or I'm not enough. And it's not safe to express what I feel here. This is where our authenticity disappears. Instead of being ourselves, we begin adjusting ourselves to maintain connection.
And finally, validation.
Well, validation again is when your internal experience is accepted as real and meaningful. When validation is missing, you might hear, you're overreacting. That didn't happen. You shouldn't feel that way. And the nervous system adapts by questioning itself. It starts saying, well, maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe my feelings don't matter. Maybe I shouldn't trust my own self. And over time, this creates disconnection, not just from others, but from ourself, right? And when you're disconnected from yourself, connection with others becomes even more difficult.
So when stability, attunement, validation are missing, what does the nervous system do?
It adapts for protection, right? So it hides instead of, it learns to hide instead of to reveal itself. It learns to perform instead of being who we really are or authentic. We control instead of trust, and we withdraw instead of staying present. And these aren't flaws. These are survival strategies. But over time, these strategies become patterns, and those patterns form what we call intimacy disorder.
This really shifts the way we understand people's struggles.
Yes, it does. And because instead of asking them what's wrong with them, we begin to ask, what did their nervous system learn about connection? And once we understand that, we can begin to change it, right? So the guys in my intensive do a whole trauma timeline, and we go through it. And at the end, I ask them probably the most important question of that whole exercise. When I was growing up and I reached out for connection, I received. And when they use their heart and not their head, right, they're going to nail it every time. So when they reached out connection, I received, there could be nothing. I received scorn. I received ridicule. I received abandonment, right? So what we're looking at is getting them to understand how this nervous system was trained to respond. Because unless we make those unconscious things conscious, we can't heal them.
Thank you, Dr. Barta. In our next episode, we're going to be talking about how these early adaptations turn into adult patterns and how they show up in relationships and addiction and everyday life. Until then, thank you for listening to the Reconnection Podcast.